Hey y'all, this is Tia from Nail Dip Studio. In today's video, I am going to be doing a dip fill-in. If you haven't already, go over to Nail Dip Studio. I launched my own product line. The website is www.naildipstudio.com. I have an array of shades, liquid dip sets, and finishing tools to help you complete your set. So many of you have asked, what products am I using? And I'm using my own products. So in today's video, I'm going to be doing a dip fill-in. I don't think that I've done that on my channel before. I wanted to sort of show you how my nails sort of held up. I have a crack in that first nail because I had actually dropped some items on it, but I was happy that it did not break, but it actually did crack. The shade that I will be using today is called Snow, and that is my white shade. And I wanted to do this because I don't think that I've done it before. I will be using steps 1, 2, and 3 initially. So as I jump into the video, one of the main things that I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that I showed you, for those that are interested in doing a dip fill-in, how I would go about doing that, as well as doing a dry prep or a dry manicure on my nails. I'm going to file down my nails as well. I will be using an e-file, and this particular e-file that I'm using is an e-file that I got off of Amazon. It is in my opinion, an affordable e-file. So if you're someone who is looking for or interested in getting into using an e-file, I would say strongly suggest that you use this file because I think it's a nice file for a beginner. I have a couple of e-files, but I wanted to purchase and try out something that I thought would be user-friendly for someone who is just starting out. Now, when I do a fill-in, even though I don't necessarily like doing a fill-in, but I wanted to, provide you with an option, I always file off the top coat. It's important that you file your top coat off. And it's also important that, in my opinion, that you file down at least a layer or a layer and a half of the powder that you've already applied. And that's because you don't want your end product to be too bulky. Okay, so let's just say you, in your last overlay, you did 3.5 or 4 dips. Well, if you don't file off at least a layer or a layer and a half, and in some cases you may need to file off 2 layers, your nail will be extremely bulky. So if you did 4, and let's say for your fill-in you're doing another 2.5, now you have somewhere between 6.5 and 7 layers, and that's going to be a very thick, bulky, wide nail, and that's just not something that I specialize in. So I always shave off a layer and a half or 2. Also, you saw me filing down my nail. I like a shorter nail when I am doing my nails. So I like to use the e-file to assist in that. I do not use the nail clipper to clip my nails because I find that you can actually crack or damage the previous overlay, and you're not trying to do that. This is something that's quick in and out, like maybe you have somewhere to go, you only have maybe at best an hour, if that, to do your nails, and you need a quick little fix. So I wanted to show you how I would go about doing a fill-in if I had to do a dip fill-in on my nails. So, if I did not mention, I'm also going to do a dry manicure and a nail prep in this video so that you can actually see how I do that too. Because for this particular install, I would not soak my nails and do a wet manicure. A wet manicure would not be necessary because you don't want to trap those liquids under your nails if your nails are lifting, or if you have a crack or something on the side of your nails. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure that you use your nipper to remove and address any issues that you may have around your nail so that you can actually repair it and patch it. So that's why I wouldn't do a wet manicure. I would only do a dry manicure. Again, right here. And if you're new to my channel, I talk. I pretty much talk through because I like to hold. I'm not there to hold your hand, so this is my way of holding your hand. So, you know, if talking bothers you, I would say mute the video and just follow along. But this is my way of holding your hand because I'm not physically there with you. So as you can see, I'm filing down my nail. And I have this e-file on the first setting. I didn't take it past that because I'm doing my nails as if I was, you know, on the opposite end watching the video. Okay. Again, removing the top layer, the top coat, filing the nail down to my desired nail length, as well as I am going to go back over and just file down some of that product. I don't do bulky nails. That's not my tea. That's not my style. So, but if that's your thing, then you would just file off the top coat and then follow the steps a little further along in the video, and then, you know, you would get your desired look. But I'm going to let you all watch this clip and I'll be back. Now that I am all done with the removal of the top coat, filing down my nail, and actually shaving down some of the previous layers, I'm going to take my nail file, my 100 over 180, and I'm going to be using the 180 side to actually help me to shape around my side walls and to clean up and flatten the flatten the nail a little bit so that I can have a smooth transition. And you'll see what I mean by that in a second. Okay, I'm just like filing, shaping my nail. And here's another thing, another tip. I shape my nails before I even do a dip. I have my nail shaped about 90% of the way. And the reason for that is that you want to save as much product as you can on your nail. So you don't want to overshape your nail and then you're losing the seal, you're losing the bond that you've already created on your nail. So as you can see here, I'm using my 180. I am going to take my nail file, the manual file, not the e-file, and I'm going to start to shape and sort of recarve my nails in the desired shape that I like. If you're someone who wears acrylic nails, you know that your nails, especially if you have an active lifestyle, that you can have your nails shaped one way, and within like a week and a half, 2 weeks, you start to lose that shape or they start to curve based on your activities. So I'm just reshaping my nails here. I am going in downward motions just to control the amount of product that I'm removing. And I think that it's important that you sort of, I like to narrow the sides out. As you can see, I'm filing and narrowing and shaving the product down. And this is all, again, preference number one. But number two, I find that it gives you the best result when you take some of that product off, because you're going to apply another layer and you just don't want it to be, I can't keep stressing, I don't do bulky nails. Even when I had clients, I never did the bulky, the wide nail. Like, I'm not the nail tech for you. You need a different tech. So again, here, shaping my nails, thinning out the sides, making sure that I am bringing them in. Like, have you ever seen like veneers, like people who go and get their like veneers done, they have their teeth shaved down for the actual veneer, that cap to go over. Think of it like that. Like, you have to shave the previous overlay down to put the new fill in, which would be the cap or the veneer, onto the tooth. That's what we're doing here. Okay. So I'm going to let you watch me in this clip and I'll be back. Now that I have pretty much everything shaped up the way that I want it to be, I noticed that there was a little piece that was cracked. So I'm going to take my nippers and remove that piece, and then I'm going to file that piece down. And so this is one of those steps that's critical when you are doing a fill-in. If you have an area that you see that maybe it lifted, maybe there's a crack there, go ahead and remove that piece and then file it down so that you can apply the product on top, and it makes for a smoother transition. Now, I also like to shape underneath my nails as well. So, that was a clip of me just shaping underneath, and I'm going around my cuticle bed, as you can see, downward motion, using the 180, and just smoothing it out a little bit more for my liking. Okay, I'll be back. Now that I have that all done, I am going to move over and grab one of my favorite nail bits. I use this nail bit on my natural nail all the time. It is the bit that I prefer to use to clean up and remove any dead skin, cuticle. It helps to smooth everything out, and it gives me that, how like I would always get questions about perfecting that cuticle smile. Like at the nail salon, we know how to perfect that cuticle smile, that cleanness around the cuticle area, that perfect silhouette, that signature curve. Well, this is the bit that does it for me. And I would strongly suggest that if you're someone who's looking for like an e-file, this file, the file that I'm using, this actually came with the set. So as you can see, important, let me point this out. Whenever you're using an e-file, you always want the bit to spin in the opposite direction to which you're working in. So I'm right-handed. So when I use the bit, I am going with my right hand towards the left, right? So you want the bit to spin to the right since I'm going to the left. Okay, and if you were going to the right, you want to reverse it and have it going to the left so that it can actually remove the skin. It can, file down and sand down the product. That was one of the tips that we were taught when I went to school. So trust me, my bit is going the opposite way that in the opposite direction to which I'm working. So, and I want you also to see that I am not pressing down. I am, it's somewhat hard to see a little bit, but it is kind of flush to the bit is actually flush to the nail. It's not pointed straight down. I'm not doing any damage. Um, and if I actually put it on my skin, nothing, like it wouldn't break my skin or anything like that. Okay. And as you can see here, I think I'm changing direction. Oh, I'm showing you the name of it. But that is my favorite bit. Oh, and I believe this is the set that it came with. All the pieces that came in the set, all the nail fingernail bits. Now I am going to use this polisher. I love this tool. I use this bit all the time on my natural nails when I am doing a dry manicure. Now, again, you just want to swap them out, push it down. You don't want to force it in. When it naturally stops, it's good enough. But the reason that I like this little device is it's almost like a broom or a duster for your nails. It takes and removes every inch of like dust, particle, everything. And it allows you to see where you need to now go in and clean with your actual nipper. And so, again, this is something that I use all the time. I like to use it underneath my nails. But see how I've perfected that? The salon smile, that cuticle smile. That's how we do it. So I think I am about to. Did I bring in? I think I left in the piece for me cleaning out my cuticles. Yep, here it comes. So here I'm just going to take my nippers and just clean up anything that I think I want to just like remove. Okay. I'm going to let you watch this clip and I'll be back. Now that everything is shaped and filed and nipped, we're going to move into step one. Step one is the actual priming step. So I'm going to apply primer around my natural nail. Anywhere that I actually removed the acrylic, I am going to apply primer there just to create the bond. So it's important that you apply your primer on your natural nail. Now, notice I did not take that primer down onto the acrylic piece, but just the natural nail. That's all you have to do. When you remove the top coat, you created the texture needed for the new layer to adhere to have something, a rougher a surface to connect to. So right here, I'm using snow. Always tap out your product. It just releases any air. If you have your product in a hot environment or a warm room, you might want to just shake it up just to break it up if it's stuck together. So here I'm going to start with step two. Step two is the base. And because I removed, I want to say about 2 layers of the previous overlay off. I'm not really worried about how I'm applying the powder per se to the actual nail. I'm more concerned with how the powder is being applied in and around my cuticle area. Okay, because I'm going to file everything off. And I also, right there, I was pointing out that because in the beginning I filed everything down with the e-file, I reshaped everything, I no longer have a seal. So I'm going to have to, on my second dip, bring that product down some so that I can actually sweep it across my free edge. You know that I always tell you, carry your base brush down to the free edge and sweep it across that nail. You have to do that because if you don't, especially now, everything will lift, and you might as well not even do your nails because it's going to be terrible. And I mean, it's going to lift bad, and that's how people get nail damage and fungus and food stuck and hair stuck and just water stuck underneath your nails because you don't have that bond. So make sure that you're following the steps. I am going to focus now on bringing the product. I think I'm going to go in with my third dip, and my third dip, it will be a full dip. Okay, I don't care if it's, if you have a little lump here or there, we can buff that out later on. What's very important is that you create a smooth transition in and around your cuticle area. If you need to bring additional product down your side walls, that you are paying attention to that. And you are taking your product and taking your brush, your base brush, and you are sweeping it across your free edge to create the seal needed to complete this look. Without doing that, you might as well stop. Okay. Now I'm going to repeat this step a couple of times and I will be right back. You can continue to watch this clip. make sure you dust off your product. Here I'm just showing you the brush that comes in the dip set, as well as the nail file that would come in the dip set. There is a buffer that comes in a dip set. You get your 5-piece liquid set, as well as a cuticle pusher and or powder stirrer that comes in a dip set. So it's a complete set. If you're interested, you should check out my website, naildipstudio.com. So this is the dip set with the finishing tools. So if you get that set, you get, all of those pieces there with it. And I thought it would be good to put together a dip set that you could also, if you were interested, if you're, someone who doesn't want to do their nails, you just, you're interested in getting a kit, you can also take a kit, purchase a kit and take it to your nail tech. And that way you can ensure that your products being used on your nails are only the products that you're bringing. You're not commingling. We still have this virus and stuff going on out there. So everything comes in a drawstring bag, a vinyl little drawstring bag, and you can either take it to your tech or you can do your nails at home. So just keep that in mind if it's something that you're interested in doing. And again, one kit can last you for the entire year. So you can, what you would pay for one overlay or one trip to the nail salon, you could have a kit for the entire year. Okay. Now right here you see me grabbing step 3. And normally I would have done this after I, completed every nail. But because I'm doing a fill-in, I wanted to go ahead and apply the activator, apply the bond, because we have to penetrate several layers. And I wanted to make sure that, I did that. So I am applying the bond before I move on to the next nail, just so that I can, make sure that I am activating, setting the products, all of the products together before I move on to start the filing process. Okay. So right here, I am, I use my 180, using the 180 going around my cuticle, going around the side walls, and I'm going in a downward motion. Right now, I am shaping and smoothing, and I will buff out any imperfections that I see and as I see them. I do not use the 100 side too much because I find that it just takes off too much product. If you have an extremely thick nail, and if you've applied too much product, then only then would I use the 100 side to file down the product. But I would never use the 100 side in and around my cuticle and or to shape my free edge, because you're just going to take off too much product. Okay. Now, right here, I am showing you that I'm going in a downward motion and I am starting to file off some of that bulk. Remember when I did my initial dips, I created some craters, I created some lumps, I created some bumps, and right now I'm going through and shaving it down. But when you use that 180, it gives you more control. It allows you to take off just enough product without it becoming too thin. And I'm also going to, since I use the drill, I'm going to go back in with the drill and then smooth anything out and add some additional shaping to that. But if you notice, I never take my drill up to my cuticle. And not because I don't know how. I want to make sure that when I do a how-to video, knowing that some of you may not know how to use a drill properly, I would never want to tell you to take the drill, go up by your cuticle and do this, because that drill, that bit that's on top of the actual drill, it's like a 100, and it's too harsh in my opinion. That's why I don't go that far back. Okay, now right here, I was going to clean up any product that might have been underneath my nails. Again, I'm just going in, I'm smoothing everything out, I'm shaping everything. I am on the first setting. I did not go to setting 2. I am not on setting 3. I am not on setting 4. I am on setting 2. Now, what you can see here is that I filed down most of the nail, but I really, really want to make sure that I create that narrow look. Taking my manual file, using the 180 side, I am going to file down. Notice I spent maybe 2 seconds shaping my free edge. Why? Because I already did that prior to applying any product. Okay. Now I'm looking at my nail. Looks pretty decent. It doesn't look too bad. Doesn't look too bad. As you can see right there, I need to go. I took some off because that part had I think it had cracked, and then I need to apply some more product around the side walls. But I'm showing you here how, as you can see, I took it in, and because I took that product in, or that overlay down some, it allowed me the ability to build it out. So I can't build something out if it's already out. Like if it's too wide, it's not going to look right. Again, taking my powder stirrer, I'm just going to redistribute the powder within the container just so I can make sure that I'm not getting any lumps, any clumps, or anything like that. So I'm going to repeat the same steps on my ring finger, and I'll be back. Now that I completed the overlay on my ring finger, you can see it is lumpy. Um, I am going to start the filing process, the shaping process on that nail. Make sure that you apply your bond, step 3, so that you can actually start the activation process. I am going to be using same thing that I did on the pinky finger. I'm going to be using the nail file on the 180 side. Starting off with the side walls, I always start there because I like to shape them down and then I apply the taper effects. I taper my nails, so I bring my nails somewhat in at a slant, not too much. I wouldn't say it was quite a coffin, but from it's not like a coffin. Um, it's almost a coffin, but it's not really a coffin shape. And then I am going to continue to just file everything down, shape everything down, and get it to my liking. And you will see how I do that in this particular clip. So I'll let you watch the clip and I'll come back. So right here, I'm shaping everything down, debulking the nail, getting everything down. And as you can see, I really stayed and focused on the shape of my nail right above the apex and down to the free edge. I didn't really touch the sort of cuticle, the flush to cuticle area. I didn't touch that at all. So I'm going to go in with my 180 and I am going to start to work on that. I personally, I like to get the shape of my nail first before I deal with the back part of my nail. It's almost like okay, like when you get your hair done, you deal with the base of your hair, working from the nape up to the crown versus the crown down to the nape. So that's what I'm doing here. Same concept, it's just on your nail. I like to work on the body before I go back to the rear. So that's what I'm doing. Taking my time going around the cuticle area. And also, I don't want to mess up that smile. Remember, we did all of that work to get the perfect smile, to get that cuticle smile around the nail. So I don't want to accidentally cut my nail, my skin or my nail with that file if I use the 100 size. So I'm taking my time, being very careful about shaping the nail and just making sure that I am removing any unnecessary humps, dips, bumps, anything like that. And I always look at my nail, and I think that it's important that you actually take your time to look at your nails from far away, bring them up close to you, and then rotate them, you know, like as if you're about to like bite your nail, like, so that way you can see it from three different angles, because I find like if you don't look at your nails from three different points of view, you're going to miss something. So that's why you see me sort of do the out, the in, the up close, the back. You know, I play around with the my vantage points, just so that I can see from all sides how my nails are looking, because I don't want my nails to look as if they're looking at me to look one way, but then if they're facing you, you're like, well, her nails are lumpy as hell on that side, you know. So that's why you always see me sort of rotate my hand. So add that to your routine if that's not something that you do. Rotate your nails so that you can actually see and just start to look around. And there's like a couple of things that I'm seeing on there that I don't like, so I'm going to go in with my file. Now here, I was going to go into the underneath my nail and clean it up, but then I said, well, somebody might not have a file. So I think I did it on the pinky, but in this case, I am going to use the 100. I think I'm going to use the 100 side. No, that's the 180. And I'm just going to take the tip of the nail file, and I am going to rotate that under the free edge to clean that up. So if you don't have an e-file, you can still clean up underneath your nails, and it will give you a flawless finish. Trust me. Just like that. Just rotate it back and forth. Don't go too hard, because you might mess something up. But if you just apply slight pressure, you can clean that up. Just right there, the little corner. Rotate it back and forth like that. And yeah, that's how you clean it up. Hopefully that was helpful. I'm going to finish shaping, buffing my nails, and yeah, hopefully this video was helpful. I know I talked a lot. I always talk a lot, but I'm not there to hold your hand. So hopefully you find this video helpful. And yeah, remember to keep dipping. Until next time, bye.